It was an ordinary Tuesday when my world crumbled. Just another day, or so I thought. I came home a little earlier than usual, hoping to surprise my wife Sarah, maybe take her out for a nice dinner. We'd been married for 7 years, and lately things had felt distant. The spark we once had seemed to have dimmed, replaced by a polite, almost formal routine. I missed the easy laughter, the late-night talks, the way she used to look at me. I thought a surprise date might help reignite that flame. As I turned the key in the lock, the first thing I noticed was the silence. Usually, Sarah would have music playing or be on the phone with her sister, but today, the house was eerily quiet. I called her name. "Sarah? Honey, I'm home." No answer. I walked through the living room and into the kitchen. On the counter, I saw her phone. Strange, she never went anywhere without it. An uneasy feeling started to creep into the pit of my stomach. I checked the whole house, room by room. She wasn't there. Her car was in the driveway. Her purse was on the hook by the door, but Sarah was gone. I tried calling her, but her phone on the counter just buzzed against the granite. I sent a text, then another. My mind raced through possibilities. Had she gone for a walk? Maybe to a neighbor's house? But without her phone? It didn't make sense. Panic began to set in. I called her best friend, Amy. "Have you seen Sarah?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Amy sounded surprised. "No, not since yesterday. Is everything okay?" I explained the situation, and she promised to call around and let me know if she heard anything. Hours turned into a long, agonizing evening. I paced the floor, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and confusion. I called hospitals, even the police, but there were no reports. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying our last conversation, our last week together, searching for any clue, any hint of where she could be. The silence in the house was deafening, a constant reminder of her absence. The next morning, I filed a missing person report. The officers were professional but detached. They took my statement, asked about her habits, her friends, her state of mind. I told them everything I knew, which felt like frighteningly little. Days bled into a week. Friends and family rallied around me, plastering our town with missing person flyers. Every phone call made my heart leap, only to have it crash back down. There were no leads, no sightings, nothing. The police investigation seemed to be going nowhere. During this time, I couldn't bring myself to touch any of her things. Her side of the bed remained empty. Her clothes hung untouched in the closet. The whole house felt like a museum of our life together, frozen in time on that strange Tuesday afternoon. The not knowing was the worst part. It was a constant, gnawing torment. One afternoon, about 10 days after she disappeared, the lead detective called me. He asked me to come down to the station. "We have something you need to see," he said, his voice grim. My stomach dropped. I drove to the station in a daze, my mind filled with the worst possible scenarios. In a small, sterile room, the detective sat me down and slid a folder across the table. "We pulled the security footage from the bus station downtown from the day your wife disappeared," he explained gently. "We think we found her." He played the video. And there she was. Sarah, my Sarah. She was standing on the platform looking healthy, looking happy. My relief was so overwhelming it almost brought me to my knees. She was alive. She was okay. But then, the camera panned slightly and my world shattered for the second time. A man walked up to her, put his arm around her waist, and kissed her. It wasn't just a friendly kiss. It was deep, passionate, and I knew him. It was Mark, my former best friend, a man who had moved away 2 years ago after a bitter falling out we'd had. They were smiling, laughing together. Then they picked up their suitcases, boarded a bus, and were gone. The detective just looked at me with pity in his eyes. He didn't have to say a word. I didn't need to confront her. I didn't need to find angry text messages or a hidden diary. The truth had revealed itself in the most brutal, public, and undeniable way possible. She hadn't been taken. She had left. She had replaced our 7 years together with a bus ticket and a new life with someone else. Without a single word, without a single goodbye. The person I had been desperately searching for, the woman I had been sick with worry over, didn't exist anymore. She had orchestrated the cruelest kind of departure, leaving me to grapple with the ghost of a person who never really was. It was a long road from that moment. The initial shock gave way to a profound, hollow ache, then a burning anger, and finally, a slow, painful acceptance. There were days I couldn't get out of bed, and days I threw myself into work just to feel something other than the betrayal. But with time, and the incredible support of true friends and family, I started to rebuild. I realized that her leaving wasn't a reflection of my worth, but of her own choices. I learned that sometimes the most painful truths are the ones that set you free. Today, I'm still healing, but I'm also moving forward, one step at a time, toward a future that is entirely my own. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It's not an easy one to tell, but sharing it is part of the healing process. If you've been through something similar or just found this story meaningful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to me. See you in the next one.